What's up, guys? Welcome to the Crypto Savvy channel. I'm Craig, and as usual, we're going to be going over the charts and the markets and see what's going on, starting out with the Dow, moving on to the DXY, then of course, Bitcoin, and at the end of the video, we'll be looking at the quant chart. Many people have asked for it. We're going to be checking it out. All you have to do to see your chart at the end of the video is make a comment down below. Let me know what, put the ticker down there. Let me know what you want to see. The more people that ask for the same ticker, we will be doing that at the end of tomorrow's video. So make sure you leave your comment down below. Let's get into it. Let's see what's going on. Have we broken out? Is Bitcoin bullish? We're going to take a look at that. I'm going to show you what to watch for and what target, what price points to watch for to know where Bitcoin is headed. So stick around. Should be a good video. Make sure before we begin, make sure you smash those thumbs up. Let's get 1,000 likes on this video. Get this video pushed out there. Also share the video if you belong to any groups or whatever. Make sure you share it in there. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, if you like these daily updates. All right, let's take a look. So the Dow futures, as of making this video, hopefully this gets out before the markets open, but I will see what happens. YouTube's been uploading really slow lately, so looking at the Dow futures, they're down 140 points. S&P is down 18.75 points, and NASDAQ is down 47 points. Looking at the Dow Jones, yesterday we got a dump, got a little pump, and obviously dumped back down. Now, remember, I said there is a possibility we get up to this 31,151. If that happens, Bitcoin obviously will probably pump with that. But either way, we are still bearish in the macro, anything below this. And like I said, once we come down, retest this, at least if this breaks, we do have a measured move from the breakdown of this rising channel right here to about 27,000-ish. If we do get down here, I expect to bounce, maybe retest this falling channel and then continue down. But if we do break above this 31,151 and hold above it for days, at least a couple days, then we could be coming up to retest the top. And if this breaks, then extremely bullish. Although I don't think that's going to happen. We have to look at all possibilities, right? But as of right now, everything is still bearish. You guys know my opinion on the Dow being extremely bearish. And I know a lot of people say, or people have been saying, that Bitcoin does not depend on traditional markets. Bitcoin depends on traditional markets 100%. It is a speculative asset. All speculative assets are at the mercy of traditional markets. So let's take a look at the DXY. DXY is trying to pump up here. If we can get a break above, this is the 4 hour. If we get a break above the 101.70, or I'm sorry, 111.70. If we break above that and get support, then I think it's ready to go to all-time highs. New highs, not all-time highs yet. But anyways, we are going to move this up today, where there's still the possibility that we come down here for a retest of this trend line. And right now, that trend line is going to be for today around 100 or 110 even. We also have supported the 200 EMA, and that's going to be around 110 or 110.50. But anything below this 110, then we could be looking for more upside for Bitcoin. Now, if we do come back down to retest this, I do think we'll get a massive bounce. As you can see, every time we hit this trend line, we get massive bounces, right? So be aware of that. But like I said, watch the 4 hour 55 EMA, and that is currently sitting around 111.65. If we break above that and get support, then I think it's time for Bitcoin's dump to start. We could range around in here for days. We'll see what happens. But as of right now, still bullish on the DXY. Let's look at the macro. Looking at the daily, as you can see, let me get these out of here. These were showing those touch points. As you guys know, we broke out of this rising channel right here. Extremely bullish. My target on the daily, could happen this week, next week, whatever. But my target is around 122. A break above this and support. Then we go into our weekly and look at the massive run that I'm expecting for the DXY, which is extremely bearish for traditional markets. I still believe, guys, traditional markets are in serious trouble. There are areas to watch, though, that would invalidate that. But until it's invalidated, it is still valid, in my opinion. Now, as you can see, we had this falling channel right here, or this falling wedge. Our breakout target of that is 178. So like I said, my first target is around 122. A break above that, getting support, then obviously this being my next target. As you can see how the Dow or DXY rallies. And guys, I know everybody's saying, but it's fell. If you look here, it really hasn't fell at all. If you go back over here, you can see it has to correct on its way up, right? So it's going to have to fall a lot before I think this is invalid. And if we look here, go ahead and put this on this trend line. It's around 109.77, like I said, 110 area. But you can see this trend line. We had a touch here, a touch here, a touch here, got rejected, came back and got above it. So this should hold as support. As long as this holds as support, I'm bearish on all markets. If you guys are interested in trading before we get into Bitcoin, definitely check out Prime XBT, by far my favorite exchange. They don't trade against you. You don't see the scam wicks. Definitely check them out if you haven't already. You can trade the Dow, S&P, NASDAQ, gold, silver, oil, crude, everything all from one exchange instead of switching around. Definitely check them out if you haven't already. Use my promo code SAVVY50 and you'll get up to a $7,000 bonus to use towards your margins. SAVVY25 will get you 25% off your fees. If you go to my YouTube page, there is a tutorial right on my YouTube page on how to use them. So let's take a look at the weekly. The weekly on Bitcoin, as you guys know, we nailed all these targets perfectly on the way down. We called them all, one shot after another. Right now, we are getting rejected on the weekly at the 8 EMA, which is 20,530. Now, our next resistance on the weekly is 21.5. After that is our 21 EMA, and that is currently sitting around 23.5. So if we do get some sort of rally, these points, one of these points will be a huge rejection in my opinion. But I don't think it's necessarily going to go there. We'll take a look at the smaller time frames. As you guys know, once we broke down here, my target is around 14.5. Still looking for that 14.5 to 15.5 area as my next bounce area. And like I said, we'll take a look at that in the smaller time frames. But as of right now, these are still my targets. We also have the target at 75 to 8,500, where I think the false bottom will be. We may not see that till February or March of next year. I know a lot of people don't think so because we're in a 4-year cycle and it's got a bottom in November. It could. There's definitely a possibility that could be valid. But in my opinion, a lot of things happen every 4 years, including elections. So anyways, that's what I'm looking at right here is I still have this low target around 35 to 4,500. Now, if we look at the daily, you can see I was watching this falling wedge. If we zoom in here, we have broken out of the top of it, but I don't believe this was a real breakout. As you guys know, what I'm really watching here is this descending triangle, with the bottom of that being around 18.2. I think that if we do get down here and break this, that'll be a great short spot to put in a short with some tight stop losses. Now, if you're looking for a long, I think the long area would be around 20,750 with very tight stops. If you got in at 20,750 for a long, I would put your stops below this 55 EMA, which is around 20,380. And no, don't do 100x leverage. By no means am I telling anybody what to do. I'm telling you what I will do, right? So this is our major resistance, 20,700. I do expect, if it even gets up there, that it will be a major rejection area. I still think that this triangle is going to break down to the downside. We take a measured move of the triangle, bring it down. If we break this 18.2, looking for this 30, anywhere from 35 to 4,500 range. If this happens to play out as this wedge, and this just being a little bull trap here, if you look at the volume, we really haven't got any breakout volume there. That's another reason I'm not convinced that this was any sort of a breakout. But if we do come down for a fifth wave, there is a possibility we bottom in the end of this year and the 4-year cycle continues if we hit that 35 to 4,500 before the end of the year, that could be the bottom, but that would be a major capitulation. I don't see that happening, although it's possible. I do think we'll hit this range of the 75 to 8,500 in February or March, and I'll explain why. Nevertheless, this is what I'm looking for. So if this breakout was real and we do start to see real volume, the measured move of that wedge would get us all the way up to 48.5. I don't think that is going to happen anywhere near that, but it is a possibility. As you guys know, I've been watching the Amazon chart, and I'll show you my invalidation on that in a minute. Before we go any further, make sure you don't forget, smash those thumbs up. Let's get 1,000 likes. Leave your comment down below. Let me know what you would like to see at the end of tomorrow's video, what chart you want me to look at. So anyways, that's what I'm looking at, guys. And the other target we have here, this being that falling triangle, would get us up to about 36. Although we have major resistance on the daily here at 26.8. And I still think 20,750 range is going to hold for resistance to go much further down. Let's look at the RSI. As you can see, the RSI here is staying right in the same triangle. It's forming a triangle here, forming a descending wedge here. It does have room to come up and test one more time. This one here, if we zoom in, did not quite touch. As you can see, we have a little gap here. So it is possible we get that one more push up and watch for a short right in this area. But remember, the RSI follows the body of the candle, not the wick. So we can get a gigantic wick up and then a close down below. So just beware of that. Be careful. Either way, still macro bearish here, guys. Nothing's changed. Like I said, the only thing that would make me bullish is if we break this 55 EMA on the weekly, guys. We have to break this on the weekly. And right now, currently this week, it stands at about 30,700 area, right? Anything above that, then maybe, Bitcoin gets bullish on the macro. But buying down here and lower lows still be impossible. It's up to you. My choice would be I'd rather wait and see if it breaks this to then continue on. You still get a good buy-in zone if it gets in here. Yeah, you can buy here, but it's still possible to go lower. So in the macro, still looking at this 55 EMA, right? And all these time frames played out. We had the top here in April of 99, the top here in April of 21, the top here on the Amazon chart in November 99, top here, November 21. This first bottom here, January 22. This first bottom here, January of 2000. This stuff matches up perfectly, guys. So if that's the case, our false bottom should be somewhere in February or March of next year. Get a big rally, get everyone super bullish again. This would be, we do hit this 75 to 8,500 would be a good place to get in for a possible long. Or, if you want to buy into a HODL position, just in case that really was the bottom. But anyways, I would at least take some profits on the way up, because I do believe towards the middle or end of next year, we'll see our real low. You can see that also in the RSI here, weekly RSI. Once that broke, where everyone got extremely bullish, right here, we had the rally up. Everyone most likely back then thought that was the bottom. And then just to come down and make a lower low. And then it took a long time to regain confidence in the market. It took 10 years to break this all-time high. That doesn't mean it was in a 10-year bull market, bear market. The bear market, if you go from the very top in 99 to the very bottom in 01, was about a year and a half. Actually, December 99 to October of 01. So yeah, about a year and a half, little over a year and a half for this whole thing to play out here, right? And then it went up from there slowly. It never reached this low again, but it did get a rally and then come back down. So be careful. I'll show you that chart in a minute. But another thing I want to look at. So everybody talks about that. If you look back here at the Amazon chart, once this broke right here, it did get pretty bullish there. But that wasn't the end of the bull market. So if this was to happen, this actually breaks here. This one went up just past, almost in the center of the 200 EMA and the 55 EMA. If that was to happen, that would get us somewhere around 28,000. even if that happens, guys, I think that would be a great short for a continuation to the downside. Not financial advice. None of this ever is, but I am sharing my thoughts, my ideas, which so far have been playing out beautifully. Also, we can look at we already looked at the RSI. Let's look at the MACD. Everybody's talking about the bullish MACD on the weekly because we had this cross here. You know what? Let's put that on here. So here's the MACD of the Amazon bubble, and here's the MACD of the Bitcoin bubble. As you can see, we had this cross here, just like we had here, but where were we in the chart? Right around this area, same as we are now. Crossed, looked pretty bullish, came back down for a test and back underneath, which was the false bottom. Once the real bottom was in, then the MACD actually crossed the 0 point again. This is looking almost identical, guys. Market structure, everything is pretty much the exact same here. Like I said, we had crossovers, but the real bottom wasn't until way over here, right? So just something to look at. And then, like I said, this was the bear market all the way down to the bottom. You had plenty of time. This was a little over a year here down at the bottom. It played around. So macro bottoms usually form like this. This was a inverse head and shoulders. As you can see, the right or left shoulder here, head, right shoulder, and then, then there we went. So I'm sure if this does happen with Bitcoin, everybody will be screaming new all-time highs here, only to come back down from, this one went from, let's see how big of a decline that was. So if we go from that rally, the top of this rally here, to the bottom, it drew back about 57%. So if Bitcoin was to get back in this area around 2,800 in the next 3 or 4 years, it came back down again back down to that 14,000 range, somewhere in there. But I do think this is going to take time. Everybody rushing in, FOMO, and thinking, like, if Bitcoin bottomed here, it would look like this. Does that look right? Not at all. Not in a macro chart, guys. All right, Quant. Quant, everybody seems to be talking about it. We're going to talk about the bullish and the bearish case on Quant. As you can see here, we made a lower high in the RSI on the daily and a higher high up here. That is hidden bearish divergence, right? So what we're going to look at, we're going to start out with the small part here. Well, actually, let's do this. This here does look like a left shoulder, head, right shoulder, with this being the neckline right up here. We get that off there. And if that's the case, the measured move of that, this is the bullish case, guys. This is about 230.55, $230, right in that range is the measured move of that. But first, as you can see here, we seem to be in a triangle. So we have to break this high here at 147.36. If that happens, our first target of breaking 147 is around 162. And then if we look at that as a bull flag, from the break of this trend here, we bring that up. That could get us as high as 184.75, right? But it's a good possibility we turn around and fall down here, and I'll show you why. We take a trend line, it's a horizontal line right here. Go from this top here. Every time we get above that, come back down, we get rejected, break below, come above it. Looks like a bull flag, breaks below. That's right where we're at now. So just be cautious there. There's really nothing going on here unless you break this low. If you break down past this point here, which is going to be around 125, a break below 125, guys, you go right back in here, and then your measured move is going to be somewhere around $33. Most likely, in my opinion, because of this major hidden bearish divergence here. But we'll see what happens. Remember, if we break this high over here at the 147.50 range, then look for 162 for your next rejection area. Definitely take some profits up there if you're going to stay in. But then you would look for, if this breaks to 162 and gets support around 184, which would make this a rising broadening wedge, which most likely would come back down to just fall back through. But remember, that's invalidated if you break the 125 here. So there's really nothing to do here unless you just want to take a guess until this triangle is broken one way or another, right? So anyways, thanks again for watching. Don't forget, smash those thumbs up, guys. Leave your comments below. Let me know what chart you want to see at the end of tomorrow's video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you tick those notification bells to get you notified when I post new videos. Thanks a lot, guys. I will see you in the next video.